Right now, you are holding a vivid, cherished childhood memory. You can see the setting, you can hear the voices, and feel exactly what it was like. But there is a very real chance that memory never happened. Most of us operate under the assumption that our brains work like a digital archive. We think recalling an event is as simple as finding the file and hitting play on a flawless security camera recording. To test that assumption, psychologists ran an experiment. They gathered a group of subjects and recounted stories from their early childhood, including one highly specific incident where the subject was lost in a shopping mall. A surprising number of these perfectly healthy adults nodded along. They vividly remembered getting lost. They described the mall's layout, the panic in their chest, and the conversations with strangers. The researchers had entirely fabricated the mall story. They made it up from scratch. The panic, the strangers, the layout of the stores, the subjects believed a total hallucination. This gap between confidence and accuracy leaves us with a difficult question. If our strongest memories can be built on a void, how exactly does the brain assemble these convincing fictions without our conscious mind noticing? The video file analogy is a myth. In reality, your brain dismantles every experience into fragments. Remembering is an active assembly process, a concept known as memory reconstruction. To build a memory, your brain scavenges pieces from different storage sectors. It grabs raw facts from one area, lingering emotions from another, and your contextual expectations from a third, stitching them together into a single scene. This process has a fatal flaw. Every single time you summon a memory, your brain has to rebuild it. And during that assembly, it is incredibly easy to make an accidental edit, dropping a detail or stitching in a foreign piece of data that wasn't there before. The act of remembering is actually an act of re-editing. Every time you reflect on your past, you are slightly overwriting the original truth. Because the brain builds memories on the fly, outside influences can exploit the reconstruction process. Consider an eyewitness interview. If an investigator simply asks, "Did you see the red car?" the witness's brain goes to work. Even if the car was silver, the introduction of the word red hands the brain a new building block. It subtly stitches that red car right into the edit. Over weeks and months, that suggested detail settles. The brain saves the altered file, and the suggestion becomes the new baseline for what you remember. Why do we believe these altered files so fiercely? If the details are wrong, shouldn't we sense a glitch? The brain covers its tracks using emotion. This chart compares emotional intensity with historical accuracy. Note how the lines move in opposite directions. Emotion acts as a psychological glue. The stronger the feelings attached to a memory, the more fiercely your brain defends its authenticity, even as the specific details blur or disappear. Feeling entirely certain about a memory is not a metric of objective truth. It is only a measurement of the emotional intensity your brain has attached to the story. We have to accept a difficult reality. We are fluid storytellers of our own lives, not objective eyewitnesses. To find the truth, we have to look for the friction in our own narratives. We can begin by tracing the origin of a specific detail. It helps to ask whether you actually observed a moment independently, or if someone else mentioned it first, and your brain simply adopted the building block. We should also weigh the emotion involved. Highly charged memories, the ones that make you the most angry or the most nostalgic, are the ones most vulnerable to extreme exaggeration. Ultimately, internal confidence is an unreliable guide. To find the facts, we have to seek corroboration, physical evidence, or a neutral third-party account that exists outside our own heads. Applying that external pressure to our internal stories is the only consistent way to separate factual history from our brain's creative fiction. While absorbing all this, your brain has likely been scanning its own archives. To make sense of these concepts, you've been passively pulling up pieces of your own childhood. By actively watching this video and questioning your own past, you are pulling those memories out of storage and re-editing them right now. If your brain is a storyteller that constantly rewrites the past every time it looks back, how many of your defining memories actually belong to you?